Alright dudes, we are back in the garage today. Today we're going to fix up this monopole bike. You can see I've taken off the cranks to put on my Kona Stinky, same with the rear max, so we need to replace those. And these are the cranks I got, some middle burn cranks, square taper, so I'm going to have to replace the BB too. And I have a 113 BB to try out for size, because that's what goes with this. I researched online. And I got a few derailleurs, like an old Suntour, 2 old Suntour derailleurs, 3 Suntour derailleurs, and some SRAM ones. Ideally, I want to run this, a short cage, because it's pretty light, and I think it'll fit this gearing. It just goes to 34. So we'll see which one fits. I'm running this Suntour friction shifter, in case you're wondering, so it doesn't really matter which derailleur I put on because I'm just going all friction. See how we go. So the pull ratio should line up with the derailleur now, so if I ever get a Suntour cassette, I can, it should work. Alright, so it seems like it works, like if you can just imagine putting the chain on here and then just pushing it. It seems like we could manage that. And then here you just got to worry about if it hits this, which I think should be fine. I can adjust the limit screw. And then what I mean by the screw limit, you can see right here, if I push this screw in, it's gonna push down on the little silver thing and it's gonna limit the movement. So I can actually limit it so it doesn't hit. But yeah, and you really need to put the chain on to see how it works. But yeah, I think this Suntour GPX is pretty cool. It's like super light and it's almost brand new. You know, not brand new, but pretty good condition. You can see the jockey wheels are pretty clean, and also the springs are quite strong. Just gonna have to trust me on that one. Here I was winding the screw in and it was just super tight. I didn't understand why, but I took the screw out and it looks like there's actually a little channel for a little plastic bit, and as you wind it, it gets tighter. So I guess this is to make sure the screw doesn't come loose. So yeah, it's pretty cool seeing some old design like this. This is the first time I've seen this, but yeah, I just ended up taking it out. Alright, don't know if you can see it. You can see that's the limit screw right in there, hitting this. And that's going to stop it from going too far. It seems like it's going to work. It is cutting it pretty close, but we'll see how it goes. If worst comes to worst, I can get a slightly longer screw, so it tilts it a bit back this way, and then you get a slightly more room. But yeah. So now getting the cranks to fit is really just taking this out and putting the square taper in, and then make sure the chain line works all right. I will be taking off the bigger ring, so I got a few options, but yeah, kind of got to just freestyle it for this one. I don't want to do too much math, just eyeball it. Taking the BB out, basically, yeah, you just use the tool and there's little arrows on the BB to tell you which way to turn it. Pretty nice, so you don't forget. And then I just gave the inside a clean as well. This is kind of how I guess size of BB, if it's the right, so you just kind of place it in there with the crank arm on. You can also put both crank arms on and then see how far it clears the chain stays. And then I end up having 2 BBs, so I could try 2 different sizes. I tried the size that I looked up, which I thought was right, and then I tried a slightly bigger size as well. But yeah, just make sure you push them in. And yeah, it's kind of like dry fitting. Alright, so it ended up being pretty tricky. This is 113 and this is 116. 116 is definitely too big because it pushes it too far out. And 113 seems good, but it looks like it's gonna hit these little bolts. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run it 1x anyway. So I think I'll look online to see what they have, but I think 113.5 will probably be the best. But yeah, it becomes a bit tricky because this is a 3x and I'm trying to run it as a 1x. But yeah, we'll just push it in as close as we can get it. So yeah, ideally you want the middle of the chain ring to line up with the middle of your cassette. Sometimes you can use just like a measuring tape just to sit it on there and see how it goes. And when you're doing the dry fitting, just make sure you account for like 1 millimeter when it's like fully pushed in. But yeah, it's really just guessing at this point. And then here, this is how you take this little spider off. It's a 8-notch tool that you use to take off ISIS BBs, I think, as well. But it works for this. And then you can see after you unscrew the lock ring, it just pops off. So yeah, funny story. I ordered a BB for click and collect online, new BB. And when I got there, I took out the BB and it was like covered in grease. And I was like, oh, has this been on a bike before? And then the guy at the shop said, nah, I assure you that it hasn't been on a bike. And then I was like, all right. So I kind of just left. And as I stepped out the door, I like opened it up and took a proper look. And you can see like it was like super haggard. So at this point I was like, what the hell? And I went back in and said, like, I showed the guy and said, this has definitely been on the bike before. And then he looked at it and he said, oh yeah, it's been installed, but it's never been used. So I asked him if he had another one, but yeah, this was the only size that he had in stock. So yeah, basically I asked him for a discount and got a discount and ended up taking it. So yeah, it was just quite shocking when you buy something new, but then it's been like handled and used out of the packaging. And it just raises two questions for me. Like, number one, is this something they do often? Which seems kind of weird, you know? Like, if it's been tried on, at least sell it for a discount price and be honest about it. And number two, who was the mechanic that worked on it? Basically just ripped up all the notches. But yeah, normally I would name and shame, but I think the person serving me, I think he was just a bit younger and he didn't know, and I don't think he worked on it. He was just kind of like doing the transaction. But yeah, in Australia, I think most people would have just took it and wouldn't have said anything. But yeah, if you see something like this, definitely don't be afraid to go back in and ask for a discount, because it also holds people accountable as well. And you know, you hope this makes the shop better and it doesn't happen again. So yeah, I ended up installing the new BB and it seemed to be pretty good size. It was just 1 millimeter gap, and I think once I tighten it, it'll be perfect. Here I ended up checking both sides of the crank as well, just to make sure it doesn't hit the chainstay. Alright, so yeah, just giving my cranks a clean here and with the spider. The reason why I took the spider off is because I want to strip it, I want to de-anodize it, because I don't want red on my bike. I don't want my bike to look like a Christmas tree. So I want to de-anodize it and make it silver. And I watched like a little tutorial on YouTube. Basically, you just spray oven cleaner on there and it should turn it silver. So I'm hoping that, yeah, it'll work pretty good. When spraying oven cleaner, make sure you wear gloves, eye protection, and a mask. Because yeah, I breathed some of it in and it just was, yeah, it kills you. It's like coughed like so much. It's crazy. So yeah, you can see here it's kind of coming off, and I left it for about, I want to say like 40 minutes. But for some reason, mine wasn't turning silver, it was turning black. And I thought that was a bit strange, but I was hoping like, oh, maybe it'll just wash off. But surprise, surprise, it didn't wash off. So I ended up scrubbing it just with a nylon brush, and it seemed to start turning silver, but it would take like tons of work to try to scrub it. So you can see kind of like what it looks like here after I scrubbed it. I think it got most of it off, most of the red off, but not 100%. So what I ended up doing is I tried to repeat the process again. So here again, I repeated the process and I left it for an hour this time. I think for sure it would get all of it off, because they also say don't leave it too long, otherwise it could pit the aluminum, and I don't want to pit the aluminum. But I ended up leaving it for pretty long, and this is kind of what it turned out like. I gave it a scrub, and yeah, it took, tried to take as much of the black off, and this is what it looks like. I think what happens is when you do it, there's a chemical reaction and it makes it black, but then you got to scrub the black off anyway, and it's not easy. So at this point, I didn't want to do it a third time. I just thought maybe I can just get rid of the rest of the color with just like heavy scrubbing. I ended up checking it on the drill press, try to get most of it off with the little soft brush. And you can see what it looks like, got a lot of it off. But yeah, it was just super hard to get into the little crannies and stuff, so I ended up trying nail polish remover, I tried T-cut, and I ended up trying paint stripper to see if that worked as well. Tried some WD-40 and foil, and you know, went back on the drill press. Yeah, just went back and forth so many times, and then I ended up just using sandpaper, wet and dry sandpaper. I think that was basically my last resort to get rid of the last bit. But yeah, it was definitely a huge mission. I thought it'd be way easier just from the video I watched. But yeah, it took a bit of time for sure. All right, here it is. Pretty much clocked out on this. This is the best I think I'm gonna get it. And yeah, I still think it looks pretty cool. Here it is in the sun. Yeah, pretty happy with it. Better than red for sure. And I think it'll match the cranks as well, just not being like 100%. But yeah, that's what I tell myself anyway. And then after that, just did the cranks. I just wanted to make sure the middle burn didn't have any dirt in it, and I didn't go too hard on this because I want to keep the nice bevels on the crank. If I sanded it, it would have rounded it off, but yeah, they were pretty beat up, so just gave them a quick once over. Alright, time to chuck everything together. Just using some copper grease from Boot Bike, shout out Boot Bike, and I'm going to chuck the Stritzlin's chain ring on, shout out Stritzlin. It's a 36T, so it should give me slightly more speed than I had before, which I think is what I want. And yeah, pretty excited to put everything together now since everything's clean, and excited to see how it looks all silver. I think it's going to be pretty sick. But yeah, basically just tighten this up. I put a little bit of grease on there so it doesn't seize up. And then yeah, just put the chainring bolts on, tighten them all up, and this is what it looks like. I think it looks sick. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Alright, shout out Ted MTB03. Finally got a chance to use this. But yeah, we'll put these on. I think these are TI. I don't know why I'm shaking, but there we go. Yeah, it came in this box too, which was pretty cool. I think I like the design of it. It's pretty sweet. I'll keep the box for sure. Still shaky. And then chucking the cranks on, not too much to it, just a little bit of grease. And for these cranks, these bolts, I remember that Ted said use just a normal bolt to press them in because it has I think it's because it has like a wider diameter or circumference for the bolt, and the TI ones are slightly smaller. So yeah, luckily I remember that, put it on, and then ended up winding off the bolt after you chuck it on, and then put the TI bolts in there. But yeah, that seemed to work pretty well, so I'm happy with that. The TI bolts are meant to be, I think 28 grams all up, so pretty light. And then yeah, just the same with the other side. I think it looks pretty cool. Alright, cranks are on, looking pretty sweet. You can see how close the tolerance is. By 0.5 of a mil. But yeah, I tighten it pretty tight, so looks like they make their tolerances pretty good. And the chain line looks pretty decent here. I think pretty good. It's gonna work. Hard to show on camera, I'm sure. But yeah, the 36 tooth works as well. I think if the chain line is bad, I could always push it in with a couple of spaces. Looks like I have a little bit of room there. But yeah, overall pretty good, I think. Shoo! And then this is how it spins. Yeah, it spins pretty sweet, I think, even just for a cheaper BB. Here's the crank clearance too. Alright, you can see on this side, about that much. And then about the same on this side. Alright, just chucking the chain on. I ended up giving this chain a bit of a clean, just detergent and hot water. Got most of the grease off. But yeah, this is a 9-speed chain because I'm running a 9-speed cassette, and just had a quick link. Alright, you can see here that the gear cable is just a bit short. So yeah, what I ended up doing was just using a little brake noodle. I didn't want to reroute the cable all the way through, or the housing all the way through again, and cut new housing, so I ended up using just a new gear cable that was a bit longer. And yeah, you can kind of see the setup here. And then here, just adjusting the derail a little bit. There wasn't too much to adjust. I already put the limit screws at the right spot, so it was pretty simple. And I maxed out the B limit screw just so it would shift on the last one. It does shift on the last one, but just a little bit tight. I would probably get a slightly longer limit screw in the future, but for now I think it's running and it works. So yeah, I'm just gonna run it like this for a little bit until I get a new screw. But yeah, you can see it's a little tight, but it goes, and once it's in there, it's pretty smooth. And then just putting the cable end on. My new box, you might have seen, works pretty well. And then just using the Park Tool cable crimper from Boot Bike. And one last thing to do is just lube up the chain. And yeah, that's basically it. I ended up putting pedals on, of course. But yeah, here's the bike. Here it is, looking pretty sweet, I think. I really like how the cranks match the stem. And yeah, even the derailleur goes with it as well. Even the levers matches the levers too. But yeah, pretty hyped with how it turned out. I think this monopole has been out of commission for a long while since I built the Kona Stinky, and yeah, time flies a bit, so I think it's already been a couple of months, so I haven't been able to ride it that much. But before then I was really using it just for groceries and just errands here and there. But yeah, keen to ride it more now that I got some lighter weight cranks on there. I know I got a lot of comments about why did I put downhill cranks on the monopole, but yeah, I think it looked pretty cool, but I think these suit it probably a bit better and a little bit more functional as well. Here's the Suntour GPX. The brake noodle worked pretty well, I was happy with that. And then yeah, the 36T get a little bit more speed. I do like a little bit more speed with the smaller wheel. I think that's something that I learned with, if you're running 24s, you need a slightly bigger chainring. But yeah, overall I think a good looking bike. And then I took it for just a little bit of a ride on top of the car park here. Yeah, you can see just I know I don't know, I'm probably biased, but I like the look of the monopole. I think it looks sick, just the lines, and it's real designery. I think it's kind of like a Porsche of the bike world, kind of just like something different. But yeah, I'm gonna ride a bit more. I'll probably put it in the next ride talk. Chuck my skateboard in the front. Should go all right. And then yeah, just ride super smooth because everything, the wheels are new and everything, and tires. But yeah, overall super psyched. Here's how it looks. I decided to keep the rear on just because, yeah, half because I think it matches the front, and half because I'm just lazy. I didn't want to chuck it on, so yeah, here it is anyway. But yeah, overall I'm super psyched. Yeah, thanks everyone for the support. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Let me know if you have any questions, or let me know what you think of the monopole or the upgrades. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.